police changed where they were going to be in those days following that terrorist attack, because they knew that those people, the Jewish community, would be feeling unsafe.
Assembly Member Bakari.
Thank you. Unlike some members here, I don't have a massive ego. I know we have a job to do, and that is to represent Londoners, all Londoners. And I know that the London Assembly and its members have a responsibility to make sure that we do nothing or say nothing that will divide our communities. I am incredibly worried by some of the rhetoric and some of the things that have been said today already that is going to cause real tension in our communities. We do not need that. We definitely do not need that. We need freedom of speech. We need to make sure that we have freedom of protest. We need to make sure we have freedom of worship. We need to make sure we have freedom to live in peace. And we stand with our Jewish communities in the wake of that horrific attack. And we must do all we can to heal.
After the devastating terrorist attack, London's streets changed overnight. Police units shifted their routes, focused their attention on Jewish neighborhoods that now lived in fear. Officers knew they had to show up, be visible, and protect communities feeling unsafe. In those tense days, the city stood on edge, and the police presence became more than law enforcement. It became reassurance for a city in pain.
The division, and to make sure that communities of faith are safe from terror attacks against places of worship, whether they are synagogues or mosques. Now, Mr. Mayor, do you support the Home Secretary's decision to give police power to decide how citizens are allowed to protest? This decision may actually increase tensions and potentially cause breakdown of trust.
Sorry, I'm not sure what powers she means.
The Home Secretary has been given a decision to give police power to decide how citizens are allowed to protest. And how do you feel this is going to impact the increased tensions that this is going to have, and even increased tension between the police and a breakdown of a potential trust?
Yeah, Chair, I've not seen any details of any plans, and I'll examine them when I see them and stuff. I'm not sure if
Assembly Member Bari took the floor, and his words cut through the noise. He said this wasn't about ego or politics, but about representing all Londoners. He warned that careless words could divide communities already fragile from the violence. He reminded the Assembly that London's strength lies in freedom of speech, protest, worship, and peace. And he vowed to stand with Jewish Londoners who were now grieving and afraid.
been published. If they have, I've not seen them.
Okay, we've now got, sorry, Assembly Member Clarke, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. I just want to take a step back, because I think what's always been apparent to me as somebody who represents the largest Jewish population in the country is the time you spent with the Jewish community, whether that's before a terrorist attack of October the 7th or after. I've been in Barnet with you when you've walked alongside us with the police. I've visited synagogues with you. I know you've had Seder dinners with local families. It's those sorts of actions that show to me what you do with every other London community, is that you're with them, you connect with them, and you're with them at all times. And I think this conversation has been really disappointing, that it seems to me that some members around this table have decided.
But then came the question that hung heavy over the room. Should police be given power to decide how citizens protest? Bari pressed the mayor, directly asking whether new Home Office powers could worsen tensions between police and protesters. Would this decision heal wounds or deepen distrust? The mayor hesitated, unclear on the details, but the unease in the chamber spoke volumes. The line between safety and freedom was being tested.
To highlight one community and use that as some sort of political football, and I think it's profoundly unfair. But moving on from that, I really want to thank you and your office, because immediately following that horrific terrorist incident in Manchester, I had a phone call from your office. Barry Rawlings, the leader of Barnet Council, had a phone call from your office to check in, see what more do we need in Barnet, because you knew it was important, and it is important. But I'm coming on to my question. The following morning, I was out for a walk with the police in Golders Green with Sarah Sackman, the local MP, and with Councillor Sarah Conway, who's our lead member for community safety in Barnet. And the three of us walked with police for, I don't know, probably a couple of hours, walking past Jewish sites, but also walking Golders Green High Street, where there's a number of charities and shops, and, that's where people are. And what really struck me was how many people stopped their cars, how many people stopped us in the street, thanked the police officer.
When pressed on the Home Secretary's move, the mayor admitted he hadn't seen the full proposal yet. But his tone was cautious. Everyone in the room knew what he meant. Once police start deciding who can speak and where protests can happen, trust can fracture fast. London had seen it before. And in the wake of terrorism, no one wanted to watch fear turn into division again.
Being there. And the following evening, I joined a local shul for Shabbat prayers. And the same thing happened. It was person to person, just stopping, thanking the police for being there. And so I wonder if you would join me in thanking the police for stepping up immediately. A lot of them cancelled annual leave. They changed their working patterns. The police changed where they were going to be in those days following that terrorist attack, because they knew that those people, the Jewish community, would be feeling unsafe, and that there was also possibly a threat to them. But that's what they did. They stepped up, they stepped out, and they were there. And it really struck me just how many people stopped to thank them.
Well, thanks for your comments. I spent a lot of time this week with the leader of Barnet Council, in fact yesterday, because she'll be aware that the biggest Jewish community between Tel Aviv and New York is in Barnet. A huge community, and for obvious reasons, heightened sense of fear.
Assembly Member Clarke then spoke. Representing one of the largest Jewish populations in the country, she praised the mayor for standing with the community both before and after October's attacks. She recalled walking with him through Barnet streets, meeting families, attending synagogue dinners, and listening to fears firsthand. But her voice turned sharp as she condemned those using this tragedy as political ammunition. Communities needed unity, not...
By the way, I'm not divulging confidences. After every terror attack, there's a fear of a copycat terror, which is why increased field policing is so important. And also, by the way, she'll know, because of the history Jewish people have, they know the need for additional security because they can't rely upon the state. History tells them that. That's one of the reasons why the Community Security Trust was set up, and they do a brilliant job. She will also know from work in Barnet. The CST has given advice to Muslim communities. Synagogues given advice to mosques, how they can help each other, keep other places of worship safe as well. And she will also be aware that in her wonderful community of Barnet, you had Muslim representatives also going to show a hand of friendship to Jewish communities because they understood that there was. Wouldn't it be far better to talk about that rather than fueling division as some members of the Assembly appear to want to do? I'm also quite clear, though, about this. Police may be imperfect, there may be institutional problems in the police service, but I see on a daily basis the difference they make to communities like hers, where people feel safer when they see a police officer. But the Commissioner himself was out and about. I think he went to shul as well. I think it's Hedgen, in relation to which God he worships, but that's another story. He was there to show solidarity, but also to show the importance of security to that community.
Thank you for that.
Okay,
Clarke described that morning in Golders Green, walking with police and local leaders past Jewish homes, synagogues and shops. People stopped their cars to thank the officers. Strangers smiled through grief and fear just for seeing uniformed patrols on the streets. Later that night during Shabbat prayers, she saw it again. Families expressing gratitude simply for feeling safe again. Her message was clear: the police had stepped up when it mattered most.